Well, Build 42 finally released. And despite all the brand new features introduced by the IndyStone team, the most talked about feature so far is the introduction of the new loading screens. But not for any good reasons. Upon closer inspections, players have been accusing the dev team of commissioning an artist that used AI to help create the images. In a day and age where megacorps are doing anything to cut costs, the use of AI generated content has become a major talking point, especially in the gaming industry. Just the other day, Call of Duty was accused of having AI create calling cards, prestige icons, emblems, and loading screens as well. However, the issues around Project Zomboid hit a little more close to home for me. So today, I decided I'd dive into the accusations a little deeper and figure out just for myself. Did the artist really use AI? Or are people ready to just jump the gun on anything these days? But real quick before I do that, Lenny himself has given a statement regarding the accusation, which reads as follows. No matter how sure or certain anyone may be as to whether AI generation was used in the new title screen and loading screens, I'm not about to make any definitive statements one way or the other until we've spoken to the artists who've created these pieces. Just that I took the decision to remove the artwork until it could be fully investigated, and we could discuss with the artists we commissioned to make them. As is usual with a case like this, we've seen some weird conspiracy theories floating around, and some incorrect claims as to the identity of the artist, and it's become clear this all needs to come to an end before it completely overshadows Build 42's launch. As I've said elsewhere, we paid and commissioned a AAA concept artist to create these pieces. The very same artist that painted our original Bob 1 car. That's not to say AI wasn't used in the new pieces. All I can say is that the IndyStone team paid a professional external artist to create the pieces. And whether others may disagree, we and everyone in the closed beta testing team thought that they were great and were excited for everyone to see them. If indeed it transpires AI generation was used in the production, we had established trust in the artist's proven abilities and track record, and with the immense amount of work we have done to get this build ready, and our attention divided in 1,000 different ways, if anything, it would be a failure in our close attention to the artwork, despite anything others may have considered so obvious. We were very happy with how they looked, and were very excited for everyone to see them. Frustratingly, we also commissioned an FX studio to make the title menu screen into 3D, and to add VFX such as rain, dust, flickering in light, and the subtle movement of a camera. A huge amount of work and money went into the title screen pop, and we were super proud of it, and this is just an extremely frustrating way for it all to go. Either way, they are gone for now, likely forever, as frankly, after 2 years of hard work from our entire team in getting Build 42 done, it would break my heart a discussion as to whether we'd used AI on a few loading screens that were produced externally to the company pretty recently was to completely overshadow all the effort and passion and hard work the team has put into getting Build 42 out there. Even if it turns out that no AI was used, it seems having them in the game would just continue causing grief and casting a shadow over Build 42's unstable launch. And I'd rather just write off the money we spent on them either way. If anyone feels disappointed in us failing to stop AI artwork from getting into the game, then that's fair enough, and I personally apologize. I hope people see we took the claim seriously enough to act even before having sufficient time to investigate the matter properly. But at the same time, I stand by my teammates and the company that from our perspective, we are paying an artist to create bespoke artwork, and feel we've ethically not done anything wrong, as many of the commenters around the community have suggested. And me personally, I agree with them on this statement. As an indie studio, you can't rely on them to make everything themselves, so it's kind of fair that they would go out and commission other artists for their work. And oftentimes when commissioning artists, they're given the creative freedom to almost do anything they want, as long as the studio agrees with the final product, that is. Which it seemed like the dev team that's been stressed with the work overload seemed to have liked him on the first hand. And like me, they're probably not too familiar with AI artwork and all the subtle nuances and details you can use to spot them. For me, I just look for the extra finger. If it's there, then it's probably AI. And I'll admit, when I first saw them, I also didn't really notice any of the details people have been pointing out. So I guess it's time to hop into those to see if these claims actually hold any value. Now the first example I'm going to hop into here, I kind of find similar with the game The Day Before. If y'all remember that from, I think it was earlier this year or last year, in a bunch of their trailers and artwork, they used a bunch of stuff that was similar to other games. And as you could see, this picture of Ellie from The Last of Us, this artist took a lot of similarities from that picture. But that's not enough to back the AI claims for me just yet. For me, that's just an artist maybe using another artist's work to maybe give themselves some ideas and a little bit extra help in creating stuff. Because if you really look closely, the forehead wrinkles, the face, the nose, it's all a little different. Now, y'all tell me down below in the comments if that's easy to change. To me, it just looks like they took the facial structure of Ellie and used the proportions for their artwork. But then we hop into the details with a little bit more evidence. First off here, the microphone cord melts into the girl's hair. There are some inconsistencies on the number of slits on each side of the microphone. The handle is misaligned here, her belt buckle is misshapen and half missing, and the artifacts around the text were copied in. And before I go breaking down everything, I want to go ahead and look at all the other pictures. Next up, we have this picture of the photographer that I personally used in my thumbnail about the release of Build 42. And in my opinion, this is the best image from the bunch. So let's see what the details they pointed out are. I guess let's start off with the light sources. First off, take the note of the sun being in the back, and then there's a light source above casting a shadow down onto his face, and his arm right there as well. And then there's a little bit weird lighting with his hair right here, which to me just looks like creative liberties taken. Like in my opinion, you probably wouldn't want to have the character's face completely shaded off, or completely bright for that matter. They also point out some coloring in the brick, along with some wonky windows in the back, some indiscreet objects in the road, a melted cup, another indiscreet object, windows not being the right size as other windows, and they pointed out that the font style is a little wiggly, which, in my opinion, if you've seen other artwork of AI, you'd be surprised that they even got full letters out of it. Most AI artwork that I've seen, the writing is unreadable, and the fact that you can zoom into the license plate and still be able to kind of tell what they say, I don't really think this one's AI. And the last image that they made is of this man driving away from what looks like to be his wife, who's in the process of probably being eaten alive. I couldn't find any posts that did a breakdown like the last two, where everything's kind of circled for us to kind of take in. But from what I've seen from the commenters, people are confused on where this dude's looking and where the girl's looking as well. They think the girl should be looking at the car and the guy should be more turned around or maybe looking in his mirror. They also point out his hand looks like he has only 3 fingers, but I think the other one's just off screen. And if you go around looking at all the other zombies, even the ones in the very far back, they all have 5 fingers, so come on. And you can already probably tell where I'm going with this. I think most of the evidence given is pretty lackluster. Almost every detail I can kinda hand it to the artist on why they would do that, given their creative liberties, so I wanna kinda go screen by screen. So firstly, let's hop back to the first picture we looked at. They say the zombie appearance appears inconsistent with the other pictures, which if we do hop back to the other pictures, they are right about that. This zombie definitely seems to be a little more decayed than the other ones do. But if you go back to the original cover art the same artist made, you'll see that these zombies also look decayed in this. So I don't really think we can kind of take that detail as one. I've already mentioned the text before. I'm just surprised that people actually think that artificial intelligence would be able to make text this good. Next up, the misshapen / half the belt buckle is missing. If you take a second and zoom out, it looks fine, but I guess I'll give that a point to the AI. Next part of this picture, it says that there's an inconsistent number of slits on each side of the microphone, which they are right about again, and I'll give that another point to the AI. And lastly, there are misaligned handle attached to different parts, which again, I guess I'll give that a point to the AI. But all 3 of those points to the AI, these could just be an artist messing up. People still do have mistakes. I know that in a day and age where everything needs to be top of the line production wise, especially indie artists will have mistakes. If someone's not looking over, kind of giving their artwork a second eye, especially when they send it to the devs and they just give it the green light. So all the points I give to AI, I'll give back to the artist and say that they just messed up. You can zoom into this asset right here of the blood on the sleeve, and it literally looks like it's from an asset pack. If you look at the blood on her face again, it still looks like it's from an asset pack. Overall, it just seems like the artist was a little rushed with this image. So I don't think you can give this a point to the AI. And I already mentioned a few of my points when we were talking about this image previously. The lighting, that's just artistic, creative liberties. When you're making a photo, it's okay to have different shadows in different places, as long as it looks okay, especially if you're an indie artist, guys. All of the wonky objects, melted cups, all of that stuff is just That's just stupid to me, in my opinion. It's just details added to the ground. Non-discrete object, this just looks like a piece of paper, maybe a receipt. And where's it from? The wind probably blew it in. Come on, guys. Overall, in my opinion, I think this situation has been drastically blown out the water. I personally just think the artist used an iPad and everything was hand drawn. So for you people pointing out the wiggly fonts, that's probably them actually drawing in the lettering. But then again, I am just a media production student and I don't really have a background in artificial intelligence or AI created images. So if there's anything you think I missed or maybe got wrong here, make sure to tell me down below. Anyway, that's my opinion on it. I don't think it's AI, and the IndieStone team probably should have looked at the image for longer than 5 seconds, and maybe pointed out some nuances to the artist. And the last statement I'll make here, I like the original artwork style a lot better than this new artwork.